What's up, guys? So I'm gonna share this video with everyone. I might even turn it into a YouTube video. I got tons of alerts popping up to the downside here. And I'm also really happy to see TLT reaction. Now, the tariffs dropped today. I'm gonna keep this up just because so it's better lighting. The tariffs dropped. Now, the big thing is the market wanted this tariff story to be done, okay? And a lot of people who were getting bullish, especially on X and stuff, were saying repeatedly like, tariffs are done. With the market's priced in the worst. We can get bullish here. And one of the things that I was telling pro traders is. The pro members rather, is you have to stay cautious chasing too hard. Okay. And I'll tell you exactly why, just for future reference. Like me and Abe were even joking in the live stream while we were trading live. We were telling people like the market's still priced in a big move. And even on the 0 DTE contracts, they were not taking those premiums out. They were still cooking with high Vega, very unusual to see. And the VIX is still staying persistently above 20. Now, this is probably going to gap up to over 22, which is going to be painful for the market, especially if it continues to be bearish here in the after hours. I could pull up features here on my other screen real quick, actually, because I'm actually in the middle of meal prep and some stuff right now. So it looks like it's trying to recover after the downside move. We'll see what it does in the morning if we get a continuation. I think there's going to be a lot of unraveling from bullish positions. People are kind of getting speculative and getting ahead of themselves. So this is, and what I'm really going to be watching is APP. Look at that beautiful meltdown. This pissed me off. This was a loss that we took. Had a great setup for a nice downtrend continuation here, and I held it and then had to cut it. I held it through the day and then cut it as it started to get this big up rally again for the short dated contracts, but I still have the May contracts, which should print tomorrow. I also trimmed some of my longer dated Apple puts, even though I didn't really want to, but you have to. And so these should come back really well if we hold below the 207. That's a big downside trigger, and we could get a pretty substantial reversal back to the downside. So this basically 208 actually. If you can hold below that, very bearish. We should see a move like back below 200, persist post that. So I'll be watching those like a hawk. Really happy to see TLT. What I'm going to really be watching here is I want to see the daily fire to the upside on the TTM squeeze, which did I just click it off my screen? So I want to see this daily fire to the upside. It hasn't quite yet, but a big move like this over, where was it at? Was it over the 92.68? It's right there. It's right there at this big level. So that's a big level to watch. A move over that puts us on the path towards 96 and then up to 100. I have a sizable position there at 100. So yeah, we're well positioned for that. I really want to be hunting for a continuation. So tomorrow's going to be a big trade day. I see here in the after hours that this has tried to do a little bit of recovery. If it holds below 550 tomorrow and kind of gets a negative move there. Actually, let's look here. Did we melt below? Yeah, to brand new lows. Yeah, so if it holds under 550, look for 540 next. At 540, I believe that's your 12%, your full 12% downside. Yeah, it's right. It's pretty much right there. So if no bounce there, you're very likely to go kind of in free fall, maybe even a pause on the market tomorrow, because this 540 is a huge level. So if we break 540, look out below, okay? And even I see here on the 4 hour, we've got like a big reversal. So watch this daily on SPY. There were several stocks that did reversals on the daily TTM, started to push back to the downside. We know the weekly is already cooked for a lot of these names, a lot of the big tech names. They all look similar to this. In fact, some of them look even more bearish on the daily. We know that Apple was one of these that was also trying to get an upside push on the daily, but unlike a lot of other names like Google, which then had the reversal back to the downside, and it looks like it's even trying to, you see that where we get this, it could fire, could be a big move back up, and then we get the reversal plunge, and then today tried to another recovery. So if this opens with another deep red candle, look out, because it could get really painful. And on the weeklies here, like the weeklies show like a lot of room to run to the downside. And for Google, again, like below 147, you're starting to get to these levels where a continuation to the downside, we start to enter some price discovery, right? Especially below this 540. I mean, it gets rough. So we'll be watching. If we go crack below this like 12% downside move, we're going to be looking for massive unwinding. For probably a few funds will blow up, and we'll take that in stride as it comes. But yeah, I mean, I was slow for a lot of trading, net short. And in my portfolio, then we added also the TLT position. And as we were slowly melting up, I had to close some stuff. I guess I should also mention, like, okay, we did a good job with Tesla today, played that to the upside, over 60% returns. I ended up not rolling that position. Like I thought I would. Because it just became stagnant. It's at this, quite honestly, this price action, whoops, we're not even looking at the right chart, Josh. This price action on Tesla, even cooking back to this level and then holding persistently, is actually really bullish. So the tariffs were just that bad. I mean, we were supposed to be doing tariffs on countries that we were a deficit with, except the calculation for the deficit, awful. We are putting tariffs on countries that we already are at a surplus with, because we did a baseline 10%. It was very broad, not specific. So honestly, this is the type of environment where, yeah, you're going to bring inflation back. I think your probabilities for recession are also going to come back. The market's not going to be happy about the fact that it was definitely the speech today left the door open for more negotiations. And we don't want that. The market, I mean, just think about, okay, I don't want to sound conceited when I say this, but it's been a tough market even for me, right? This has been so hard to trade. Without a doubt, because of the geopolitical volatility and the volatility of the administration. There's so many unknowns. There's so many new situations that we're dealing with, and the price action's also been difficult. And now we are going to get an extension of that. If I think this is difficult, we've kept our head above water, right? We've even had some really good weeks, and we've now been kind of bringing in some more cash, right? But it's nothing like last year, nothing like the performance of last year, especially beginning of last year. I think the first 6 months of last year, it was like I couldn't do anything but just print money. This is nothing like that, right? And if I'm struggling, trust me, there are plenty of fund managers who are struggling. There are plenty of hedge funds that are struggling, okay? Because I beat these guys on consistent basis. So if I'm having trouble, trust me, there's going to be blow-ups, there's going to be pain, there's going to be unraveling of positions, and yeah, there's going to be expectations blown out of the water. So it's probably Thursday and Friday, you're going to see a lot of processing of the information. And additionally, you're probably going to see a persistently high VIX as we continue these negotiations. We haven't even gotten the reactions from the other countries, so I'll be getting that over the next few days if we haven't had some already. I don't know quite yet what that looks like. I haven't seen anything or heard anything, so I need to get caught up on the news. That's not really important right now. Just looking at this price action, look out below, baby. And puts are going to print. So they try to take a lot of the premiums out. I'm really interested to see what happens with APP because this is a really weak stock and in a really weak market. You know, if this is still in your portfolio, you know, keep in mind there's plenty of people probably around this $80, you know, maybe even a lot of people around this $30 mark that are deep in profits. They're like, well, that sucks, but I want to get my money back. I don't want to sell now. I don't want. They don't react. They become pigeonholed and they want to go back to that number, right? if this starts to really crank down and sell, they'll panic. Okay, they'll really start to panic, right? They probably should have sold when it was coming down here. And there's a lot of bag holders now who are like, well, I want to see if it'll come back. Let me see. Same mentality. People act like only retail traders have this. There's plenty of fund managers that have that mentality. They can't walk away from shit that's not working, right? So I really think that there could be a huge capitulation here. So a bit of a bummer that, how bad that play went earlier in the week. Because that was definitely, I think it was a substantial loss on a B-size trade. Granted, I did keep pretty much half the position open, maybe slightly less than half open at a longer date. So those should print. But yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything I forgot. I think the rest I'll probably cover in the pre-market based on the pre-market structure. But right now, as I see, we've got panic. Oh, the other thing I should cover, honestly, guys, I'll tell overnight traders they want to swing positions. I don't think you could touch anything in a prop account. Okay, you're fine if you're trading. You're a larger account. You're trading futures in your account. Maybe you got a Tasty Trades account. I don't have mine set up. I wish I did, but you can't touch your prop account. I think most of them, if not all of them, maybe there's a few exceptions, but most of them will not let you trade downside moves this big. And if this accelerates to the downside tomorrow, we start getting close to circuit breakers. There's going to be rules around, like, even if you make money on that, you're not getting paid on it. Okay. So I noticed someone even posted it in the public chat, but, that's what that means. So you have to read through those rules. Okay. It sucks. They will claim it's so that, it's for the investors, for their safety. But really what it is they know that if you're getting to the circuit breakers and the market's in a panic sell environment, you could easily make 100, 150K, 200K in a single day. If you're upside, if you're down, playing the downside and you're really leveraging up in those positions. And there's definitely in a prop fund account where people feel like, oh, I only have a few $100 in this. I'm basically, that's all my risk is. I'm going to fucking leverage up, excuse my language. But yeah. It's to protect them, not to protect you. It sucks, but that's what you got to do if you're in those prop accounts. And I know a lot of you guys are, trading your prop accounts, trying to build up your options accounts. Keep that in mind. But for the option traders, we are positioned really well for this. The discipline, coming up into this, not getting too far ahead of ourselves, chasing the bullishness. Really good. Really good discipline. Really great job, guys. I didn't even have a lot of DMs asking me, hey, Josh, why are you not trading a lot? And I'm actually so proud of a lot of you for that discipline coming up in this week. And keep in mind that everyone who's been hanging out and that can hang out on the live stream, I'm trading futures live all day, teaching how to read just price action, just candlesticks in real time, telling people like, oh, this is probably, the short term setup. This works. This is how you read this candle. This is the formation. Here's the key levels. Here's where, your areas of support are generating. Oh, look at the momentum in this development. So like, if you want to come and check that out, I think that everyone who's been hanging out in those has, received a lot of value from it. So if you're someone who hasn't hung out and with me while I'm live trading, come say hi. You'll probably learn a lot. And keep in mind that I have been really liking these proportional format where, people can't, only Abraham and I are talking. It really it helps me stay in the zone better. And it also keeps us locked in on the market. So I'll still hang out in the voice chat for, chit chatting and stuff. But yeah, and keep in mind for now and for this, at least for the rest of this week, maybe for next week as well, I'm doing that in the free chat for everyone. Okay. So if you're in the Discord, you can get in there. You don't have to be a subscriber. It's not going to stay like that forever. So come check it out if you want to trade with me. All right. that'll be it, guys. God bless. I'm excited for tomorrow. I'm really excited. Like, I probably won't sleep very well. I'll be looking at overnight futures. But for now, I've got some stuff in the oven. I'm doing some meal prep, doing it later in the week than usual, and doing this video a little later than I wanted to do because I had to do some shopping at Costco. And then I'm going to do some cardio so you guys stop bullying me in the comment section on the videos. I know I got a dad bod, but I'll get back there. Okay, I'm done being a dork. Have a good night, guys.